Okay, like Ex Machina, I'm not going to be talking about this movie in detail or this character in detail because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen this movie. It didn't shock me. The ending of The Usual Suspects didn't shock me only because I had it spoiled for me, and does it does suck that I had it spoiled for me. But it, even though I was a little upset about that, to see how it all played out, uh, nobody can deny that Kaiser Soze is one of the greatest villains in movie history. Number nine.
Here's Johnny!
In my opinion, this might be Jack Nicholson's best performance. He went from being a decent husband with a few mistakes he made as a father, but overall he was a fairly decent guy in the start of the movie. And then the longer he stayed in the hotel, the more insane he became. And for those of you who have seen this movie, I can only say one word: bathtub. And you can remember that one scene where he I really don't want to say this because it he made out with a dead woman in the bathroom. Yeah, that's how insane he became. Number 8.
A German soldier conducts a search of a house suspected of hiding Jews. Where does the hawk look? He looks in the barn, he looks in the attic, he looks in the cellar, he looks everywhere he would hide. But there's so many places it would never occur to a hawk to hide.
The best fictional Nazi villain is Hans Landa. The opening scene of Inglourious Basterds alone makes him terrifying, where he was just simply talking to a dairy farmer who, unbeknownst to him at the time, is hiding a Jewish family underneath the floor, and the tension just grows to the scene's conclusion. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it just keeps building until its inevitable conclusion to that scene, and that scene alone justifies his plays on this list for me. Number 7.
Excuse me, miss. Do you think it might be possible to turn that music down so maybe a couple of the boys could talk?
That music is for everyone, Mr. McMurphy.
Yeah, I know, but you think we might ease it down a little bit so maybe the boys didn't have to shout? Huh?
What you probably don't realize is that we have a lot of old men on this ward who couldn't hear the music if we turned it lower. That music is all they have. Your hand is staining my window.
Now, this one, it actually took me a couple of times watching the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest to finally fully appreciate Louise Fletcher's Nurse Ratched. She is the exact type of nurse you don't want your grandparents to have in like an old folks home or something. She is the the head nurse at a mental hospital, and she rules the hospital with an iron fist, and she rules with fear. That's what she does.
You know, Billy, what worries me is how your mother is going to take this.
Number 6. The best action movie villain, one of, if not the greatest Alan Rickman performances, rest in peace. He is the villain who is copied by several other action movie villains. And with all the copycats, they never could shine Alan Rickman's shoes.
I already used all the explosives. Or did I?
I'm going to count to 3.
Yeah. Like you did with Takagi. Oops. No bullets. You think I'm stupid, Hans?
You're saying?
Number 5.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Call it.
Yes.
For what?
Just call it.
Well, look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything. Call it.
All right. Heads, then.
Now, there are very, very few villains in movie history that have legitimately terrified me, and Anton Chigurh is definitely one of those villains. He doesn't smile, he doesn't laugh, he doesn't talk much really. When he does talk, it just sounds like that clip you just saw. He is calm, cool, and collected when he's killing people. Just don't take any drug money from a deal gone wrong and you'll be fine. Number 4.
What I don't understand is that you've been working since, I think, about 6 this morning. Yet, such a small pile of hinges.
Based on the real-life Nazi, Ray Fiennes, in probably his best performance, the polar opposite to Liam Neeson's Oscar Schindler. I don't know if it's historically accurate to their friendship, if they had one or whatever, but if you've seen my rant on people who complain about historical inaccuracy in movies, you'll know that I do not care if it is historically inaccurate or historically accurate. But the character of Amon Geth in the Schindler's List is one of the greatest movie villains in history. And a major factor of that is Ray Fiennes' performance.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know and they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
There is a reason that this movie is called Psycho. And if you don't believe me, ask Marion Crane. Or better yet, ask his mother. Oh, spoiler alert.
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
Number 2.
I thought you said she was dead. That was her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East. This is the Wicked Witch of the West. She's worse than the other one was.
The oldest villain on this list probably can't get more iconic than the Wicked Witch of the West. The best fantasy villain of all time, an iconic laugh, an iconic group of henchmen.
Bring me that girl and her dog. Do what you like with the others, but I want her alive and unharmed. They'll give you no trouble, I promise you that. I've sent a little insect on ahead to take the fight out of them. Take special care of those ruby slippers. I want those most of all. Now fly! Fly!
A great motive in wanting to get revenge on Dorothy for killing her sister. Every requirement for a great villain, the Wicked Witch of the West checks all of them and then some.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Number 1. Even though he had about 15 minutes of screen time, give or take a few minutes, Anthony Hopkins' performance as Hannibal the Cannibal was, in one word, captivating. This isn't only the best villain of all time. This could be argued as the greatest performance by an actor or an actress of all time. Because of what Anthony Hopkins was able to do, he is, quote-unquote, helping Clarice Starling capture Buffalo Bill while actually just toying with her the entire time, and the viewer as well. And when he, spoiler alert, when he does eventually escape and tells Clarice and the viewers find out that he was just messing with her mind the entire time.
To that awful screaming of the lambs.
I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you, Clarice.
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. Let me know your favorite movie villains in the comments below. If you enjoyed this series, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And be sure to follow me on Facebook at JMash27. Follow me on Twitter at JMash27. Follow me on Instagram at JMash_97. All those social media links are in the description below. As always, mash out.